You are literally turning your favorite handheld radio into a paperweight the second you press that push-to-talk button with the wrong antenna. It is not just about having a bad signal or hearing static during your local net. It is about physical destruction happening inside the circuit board right under your thumb. Most people think a cheap antenna from a random website is a safe bet for their Baofeng or Radtel. They figure if the connector fits the threads, then the radio is ready to transmit. But there is a silent killer lurking in those cheap coils of wire and plastic. This killer is called reflected power, and it does not care about your budget or your hobby. If you have ever noticed your radio getting burning hot after a short call, you are already in the danger zone. Let us look at what is actually happening inside that plastic case when you key the mic. Your radio is designed to push a specific amount of energy out through the antenna jack. Think of your radio like a high-pressure water pump trying to push water through a specific pipe. If that pipe is the right size, the water flows out smoothly and everything stays cool. But if you put a tiny straw or a capped pipe on that pump, the water has nowhere to go. The pressure builds up instantly and tries to force its way back into the pump itself. In your rattle or Baofeng, that pressure is electrical energy measured as standing wave ratio or SWR. When your antenna is not tuned to the right frequency, it refuses to accept the energy your radio sends. Instead of flying off into the air as a radio wave, that energy bounces right back down the cable. It heads straight for the most fragile part of your device, which is the final power amplifier transistor. These transistors are the heavy lifters of the radio world, but they are also very sensitive to heat. In expensive base stations, there are protection circuits that turn the power down if they sense a bad match. Your $25 Baofeng or $45 rattle usually does not have those safety nets. They are built to be affordable, which means they lack the complex sensors found in a $1,000 ICOM. When that reflected energy hits the transistor, it has to go somewhere, so it turns into raw heat. We are talking about temperatures high enough to melt the microscopic internal connections of the silicon chip. This happens in a fraction of a second, which is why people say their radio died instantly. One moment you are talking to a friend, and the next moment your screen is blank or your range is 0. Even if the radio stays on, you might have fried the amplifier so badly that you are only putting out milliwatts. You might be able to hear everyone perfectly fine, but nobody will ever hear you again. The worst part is that you cannot always tell an antenna is bad just by looking at the outside. A lot of the cheap antennas sold online are actually tuned for the wrong frequency bands entirely. They might look like a tactical folding antenna or a high-gain whip, but the internals are a mess. Sometimes the wire inside is not even connected to the pin, or the length is completely wrong for the ham bands. If you use a GMRS antenna on an amateur frequency, you're asking for a hardware failure. The impedance mismatch creates a wall that the electricity simply cannot climb over. I have seen people use adapters to hook their handhelds up to giant base station antennas without checking the match. If that big antenna has a short or a loose connection, it acts like a lightning bolt hitting your radio from the inside. You should always use a small SWR meter or a NanoVNA to test a new antenna before you trust it. It takes 30 seconds to check, but it saves you from throwing your radio in the trash bin. A good rule of thumb is to never transmit for more than 2 seconds if you are testing a new setup. If the back of the radio feels hot to the touch immediately, you need to stop and check your gear. Do not let a $10 piece of wire destroy your communication link when you need it most. Check out this next video to see which antennas actually passed our real-world stress tests.